So Dispatch has become my most recent obsession, with me continuously replaying every scene and moment to experience every outcome and choice in the game itself. But the wait for those final episodes has me going crazy and wanting more, which is why I've decided to make this video going through and explaining every hero in the game that we have seen so far, to hopefully just suppress that boredom and want that I feel for those future episodes. Whether it'll work or not, well, is anyone's guess. But for now, and without wasting any more time talking about all of that, let's just jump right into the video, with the first hero that we ever see, and the man that we actually get to be, Mr. M&M, Mecha Man himself, Robert Robertson, the son of Robbie Robertson and the grandson of Bobby Robertson, the two former Mecha men before him and the men that he actually aspires to be just like. Now Robert is of course a powerless hero who actually uses his dad's mecha suit to fight crime, and pre his forced retirement was respected around the world as one of the best superheroes of the modern day. However, following the destruction of his mecha suit, he'd be forced to retire and don a new title and shirt, becoming the new hero dispatcher for the SDN Hero Network, a job he actually takes very seriously and is actually quite good at. However, aside from being quite good at this job, he is still eagerly awaiting his suit to be rebuilt so that he can get back out and join the fight. But now, as for his abilities and skills, well, as we said earlier, he basically has none, outside of the fact that he's actually quite a gifted hacker and engineer, as well as being potentially the best pilot of that highly advanced mecha suit that we've ever seen. Now the suit itself actually comes equipped with the highly desired Astro Pulse, which is the ingeniously designed and impossible to replicate energy cell that powers the entire suit using a highly advanced fusion reaction. Aside from this, it also has jet boosters that help it fly and move around quickly, as well as a plasma gauntlet that is essentially an electrical weapon that has multiple different functions, such as making a sword or even projectiles for him to fire. He also has a shield that is of course used to guard against most normal level attacks, although it is also kind of worthless against anything with moderate power. However, he also possesses an energy barrier that is basically used to protect him from pretty much anything else that might just be too much for his shield to handle. Although that barrier itself does also require a hell of a lot of energy to run it, so it's mostly just used as a last resort item to keep him alive. Oh, and the suit itself also comes equipped with nets that he can fire from his back, although as we can see right here, they are pretty much useless overall. But aside from that, the suit itself can also just give him the edge in any hand-to-hand fight, given that you're basically swinging around and protected by a giant piece of metal at all times. But now with that said, up next we have BB, aka Blonde Blazer, one of the strongest superheroes in the entire game and world of Dispatch. Now BB is essentially the Supergirl of the Dispatch world and one of SDN's branch leaders. She's the one who hired Robert and the one in my opinion who is the most untrustworthy on the entire team, as she just gives me questionable vibes at all times. However, besides being completely questionable in my opinion, she is still an absolute powerhouse in almost every way, possessing superhuman strength and durability, as well as flight, energy manipulation, and a superhuman metabolism that basically makes it impossible for her to ever get drunk or fat in any way. But aside from that, and something that should have probably been mentioned before, she also has the power of transformation, which is basically how she gains any of these powers and that blonde hair in the first place. She uses this ability by utilizing the seemingly magical necklace that she wears around her neck. Aside from that, little more is relatively known about her at this time. However, I have a sneaky suspicion that in the coming episodes we will find out a lot more about her past, and it won't be all sunshine and roses like we currently perceive her to be. But for now, I'll just leave her as she is, and move on to everyone's favourite love interest, Invisibitch, aka Invisigal, aka Fizzy, aka Courtney. Now just like Blonde Blazer, not a lot is currently known about Invisigal's past, however it is implied that she grew up around criminals and was bullied for most of her youth, which of course is what led to her believing that her powers were only made for her to be a villain. However, in recent times she has shown that she is fully capable of being a hero. But now her villain past and her criminal career is quite an impressive one to say the least. For see, during her time as a villain, Invisigal managed to commit multiple crimes in assault, larceny, and robbery, with the most notable crime of them all being when she robbed a bakery named Granny's and got herself banned for life as a result. She possesses incredible combative abilities that when paired with her ability to go invisible makes her an all-around amazing fighter in most any situation. And it's honestly just the fact that her powers require her to hold her breath to activate them that really holds her back, as she also possesses quite aggressive asthma that a number of times in the game has almost led to her death. However, aside from all of that, she is still, in my opinion, one of the best characters in the entire game and a hero that really shouldn't be underestimated in any way at all. But now with all of that said, up next we have Phenomenon. Now Phenomenon, aka Dumpy, is an alien from Ergot 52 DC. He possesses incredible speed, durability, and strength, and is currently considered the strongest character in the entire game. However, as we've seen after his breakup with Blonde Blazer, Dumpy became easily depressed and sad, to the point that he became basically worthless to anyone around. However, after developing a friendship with Robert, aka us, he'd eventually become somewhat tolerable and useful to us in the game. And of course, once again going on to use his strength, durability, speed, and flight to help all those in need and becoming, at least to me, the best hero that he can possibly be on our list of heroes to talk about. Oh, and he also has the power of solar energy absorption, basically meaning that Flambae can absorb the energy directly from the sun, noting that he can actually turn Earth itself into infinite darkness if he so desires. So it's probably best that we all stay on his good side going forward. Moving on, up next we have Waterboy, also known as Herman. Now, Waterboy is basically the loser that you get to decide between when recruiting the new member of your team, with it being between him and Flambae from before. An incredible easy choice in my opinion to make, but one that some potentially did struggle with when making it for themselves. But now, shockingly enough, Waterboy, as much of a loser as he may be, like the other C-Team members, was a criminal villain in the past, with his rap sheet being one of the craziest in the entire game so far. For see, Waterboy, for all of his loser traits, was actually arrested multiple times for embezzlement, extortion, drug possession, forgery, fraud, money laundering, perjury, and cyberbullying. Some of the most insane crimes known to man, and again, crimes that were committed by this thing. Like, is that not incredibly shocking to all of you? Because when I first read it, I was completely blown away. But now, either way, Waterboy himself also possesses the power of water expulsion, basically meaning that he can expel large amounts of water from his mouth, or presumably any other part of his body. And according to Flambae and Punch Up throughout the game, he is also said to possess superhuman strength that exceeds any normal human being. Although that to me is still incredibly hard to believe to this day. Like, just look at him. But now to just keep things moving forward, up next on our list we have the fastest motherfucker in the entire game, Chase, aka Trackstar. Another of Dispatch's many straight up incredible characters and potentially the funniest character in the entire game itself. Now, Chase was originally the youngest member of the Brave Brigade, a team that was formerly run and founded by Robert's own dad, Robbie Robertson. However, after he discovered that he was rapidly aging 50 times faster than the average man, due to his ability to run 50 times faster as well, he retired and started working at the SDN network, as one of their many dispatchers, where he'd eventually go on to reunite with us, aka Robert, until the day where he'd use his powers once again to save Fizzy from Shroud, becoming an absolute legend in that moment and potentially dying as a result. I say potentially because as of this recording, it's actually completely unclear if he fully died in that moment or was just injured as a result of using his powers. But now, not much else is currently known about him at this time. However, it should also be noted that he was also an incredibly big lover of dogs, particularly that fat dog that we call Beef. But now to just keep things moving on, next we have Sonar, aka Victor, aka my goat, Moist Critical himself. Now, Sonar is a human bat hybrid stemming from San Francisco. We don't really know a hell of a lot about him or how he gained his abilities in the first place. However, we are told that he was once a Harvard graduate and is quite smart on top of being a bit of a dick. We're also told that after he graduated Harvard, he would go on to use his powers for a life of crime, with his most notable of crimes being embezzlement, extortion, drug possession, forgery, fraud, money laundering, perjury, and cyberbullying. Again, like Waterboy, some of the most insanely shocking crimes known to man. Now, as for his abilities, well, alongside his obvious bat physiology and ability to transform into a giant monstrous bat at will, he also has extremely heightened senses as well as the ability to fly from place to place. Oh, and while he is considered one of the smartest characters on our entire team, he is also easily tricked by any woman with a pair of boobs, which really does bring his intelligence into question, at least in my opinion. But now moving on, up next we have a close friend of Sonar's named Malevola, who's a half-demon creature born and raised in Australia. Now again, like most of the heroes on this list, not much is currently revealed about their past and origins. However, we're told that she began her illustrious criminal career at a very young age and continued to do so all the way up until she was convicted for assault, burglary, extortion, forgery, kidnapping, and second-degree murder. Again, crimes that if she wasn't a useful superpowered freak would have certainly meant that she would remain locked away in prison for the rest of her life. But now, as for her abilities, well, Mal, aside from having the obvious demon physiology, also possesses portal creation, life force absorption, and wound transferal, which essentially means that she is currently one of the fastest traveling tanks that we have on our team, and someone who also excels greatly in the support role. But now moving on, up next we have Flambae, one of the most annoying characters in the entire game, in my opinion. Now, Flambae originates from Herat, Afghanistan, where he learnt and used his abilities in multiple arson, assault, and vandalism crimes. Crimes that he'd later continue in America after arriving there as a young boy. However, later, after being defeated by Robert, aka Mecha, he'd have a change in career and join us on the Phoenix program as our new hot-headed fireboy. His abilities are your standard pyro ones, with him having full control, creation, and manipulation over all things fire and flame, while also being completely invulnerable to all kinds of fire at the same time. He is also super strong and durable and has the ability to fly from place to place by utilizing his fire propulsion. Now it should also be noted that he is a confirmed member of the LGBTQ community, however he has never currently been seen with any guy or girl in the game in any romantic way, so this is definitely something that might come up again in the future of the game. But now, aside from all of that, he's just a massive knob and a pain in my ass. However, I will admit in recent episodes he does seem to be coming around quite a bit, however only time will tell if this actually amounts to anything or if he just remains a complete dickhead in every way. Moving on, up next we have Golem, aka Bruno. Now Golem is a construct of clay and dirt from an unknown origin, however he is said to have been made by use of magic, which is likely why he got eventually arrested for aiding and abetting, disturbing the peace and vandalism, with it being presumed that he was under the control of his creators at that time. However, later, after regaining his own control of his own body, he joined the Phoenix program where he began to use the abilities of earth mimicry, regenerative healing, and fire resistance to help all those in need. Aside from that, not much else is currently known about him at this time, however it should also be noted that he does apparently like poetry and basketball. Moving on, up next we have Coupé, aka Coupe, aka Janelle. Now Coupe is a former assassin and villain for hire, who is rumoured to have killed over 68 people during her time with the mob. However, that's never been fully confirmed, although given her cheerful appearance during her firing, I definitely believe it to be possible. It is said that she did this kind of work all the way up until the day that she was sent to kill Punch Up, an encounter that apparently quote-unquote changed her life forever, and one that eventually did result in the two of them dating for quite some time. But now along the way she also committed a number of other crimes that need to be mentioned, with each and every one of these crimes being just as bad as the one before it. They are, in no particular order, aggravated assault, extortion, first-degree murder, kidnapping, and stalking, potentially making her the most evil villain on our entire team so far. But now, as for her abilities, well, she currently possesses Umber-kinetic weaponry, Umber-kinetic flight, and superhuman accuracy, which basically means that she can control and manipulate darkness and shadows, while also being, well, incredibly accurate with where she throws her blades. Oh, and while her origin is currently unknown, like we said earlier, it is believed that due to the French origin of her name, that she may also stem from that country as well. Although again, that's just a rumour based around her name. Moving on, up next we have Punch Up, aka Golem, aka the ex-boyfriend of Coupe herself. Now Punch Up is the ex-carnival strongman stemming from Galway, Ireland. He's 3 foot 3 inches and is considered the smallest strongman in the entire world. He gained his abilities after making a deal with a sorceress, a deal where she granted him the strength of 10 men while leaving him half the height of just 1. Following this and his retirement from the carnival life, he'd go into a life of crime where he'd commit such crimes as battery, parole violation, public intoxication, and second-degree murder. He did this up until the day that he met Coupé, who apparently changed his life completely. He now utilizes his abilities of superhuman strength, durability, pycnokinesis, and pain immunity to fight the evils of the world for the SDN Phoenix program. He is also said to be completely immune to any knife or stabbing attack due to the unique density of his body, which actually does explain why Coupé was unable to kill him when she first met him. Now it should also be noted that it is also believed that his codename Punch Up stems from his tendency to punch people in the dicks while in combat, which really makes for one of the best codename origin stories that I think I've ever heard in my entire life. But now to just end us off, next we have the internet sensation with 1.3 million followers, Prism, aka Alice. Now Prism is a fatherless singer/performer originating from Flint, Michigan, where for many years she was wanted for her crimes of assault, drug possession, DUI, and tax evasion, something we all wish we could get away with. She's very flashy in personality and will not hesitate to show off when possible. She's also a complete music snob in almost every way and is highly dramatic in almost every situation. Aside from that, she possesses photokinesis, photoionization, and holographic manipulation, basically meaning that she can do all sorts of weird shit with reflective light and music, creating copies of herself and even blinding enemies at the same time. Not much else is currently known about her at this time, however she is considered one of the most likable and charismatic on the entire team, which also does kind of explain how she got 1.3 million followers on all of her social medias. But now with that does it for every superhero in the Phoenix program. As for any of the other heroes seen throughout the game, well, as of right now, they don't really have a character to speak of in the story, so there really isn't much to say about them at all. However, if this video does well, I may make another talking about all the villains of the story, and possibly every other hero as well. But for now, and with all that said, that's going to do it for me and this one. Like always, like the video down below, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. But above all, and aside from all of that, just have a great day or night wherever you are, and peace.